Have you ever noticed how the moment you stop chasing, they start looking for you? The second you go silent, suddenly your ex wants to check in. It's almost like your absence speaks louder than your words ever could. But why? Why does silence make your ex come back? If you're struggling with a breakup and wondering whether silence really works, this video will give you the brutal truth. Before we dive in, if you want to truly understand the psychology behind breakups and master the art of emotional control, subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. This video could change your love life forever. So watch till the end, because the final reason will make you rethink everything. Now let's get into it. 1. Fear of being replaced. When someone you care about leaves, it may be devastating. What if they're already in a relationship? When you finally stop communicating with your ex, they will experience the same terror that kept you up at night. The fact is that people are only afraid of losing what they perceive as being in their possession. Your ex-partner apparently thought you would remain by their side through thick and thin, clinging to every last text, memory, and naive hope that they would return. They may have even anticipated your plight, to write a heartfelt letter that begs, "Please don't leave me." On the contrary, you vanished, not sending any SMS. There have been 0 calls. Do not make any frantic efforts to bring up what you had. Then what about that? It scares them. For the simple reason that they had you pegged as a potential choice the whole time. They had you as a fallback, an insurance policy, somebody they might return to in times of boredom, loneliness, or desire for attention. However, their delusion crumbles as you remain mute. The question, "What if someone else is already replacing me?" begins to cross their mind. After a breakup, do you ever find yourself desperately checking your phone for any sign of communication? So you know what? And now they're repeating it. They keep hoping it's you every time their phone rings. Nevertheless, that is never the case. Their goal in monitoring your social media accounts is to find any indication that you are still in pain, missing them or waiting for them. Yet what happens when they come up empty? Panic ensues at that point. Their imaginations begin to go wild. Where do you stand now? Is it possible that someone else is already caressing your flesh, speaking softly in your ear and bringing back the joy they once did? Could it be that they were only a footnote in your story, but you constituted the entire dang work in theirs? The prospect of being replaced is the worst feeling in the world, I can assure you. Why? Because your ex probably felt they had an infinite amount of time on their hands. I could count on you no matter what. Knowing that you would be available to them meant that they could take their time, considering alternative possibilities. The introduction of stillness, however, compels them to face a brutal reality. You could be gone from their sight forever. Then what about that? In that moment, people begin to long for your presence. 2. Ego shattered. Breakups aren't always about love, let's be honest. The subject is power. Where does your ex stand? They were anticipating your collapse. They believed you'd be devastated, confused, and pleading for a second chance if you just walked away. In their minds, you were offering them lengthy arguments in an attempt to sway their decision. However, you surprised them by doing the unexpected. You disappeared. Plus, being disregarded is the worst way to hurt someone's pride. The majority of individuals don't end relationships because they're uncaring. They go believing they are in a stronger position. They think they can return whenever they want, and you'll be there to greet them. But when you let up on the pursuit, they lose all self-assurance. Out of nowhere, they are no longer your first priority. Your texts, your tears, and your desperation used to validate them. Gone. Initially, they act as if it doesn't bother them. Oh, they're just playing hard to get. They rationalize to themselves. They begin to wonder, though, as the days, weeks, and months pass. Excuse me, but was it truly that simple to find a replacement? Did I even mean anything to them? What if I wasn't as special as I thought? Then what about that? That idea is fatal for them. Because here's the problem with individuals who depart believing they can control you. They don't feel anything except loss when they leave, until they realize you feel the same way about them. They begin to question the decisions they made. Perhaps they were mistaken. Most importantly, they wish to determine if they are still in charge. A text message asking, "Hey, how have you been?" might pop into your inbox at any moment. I don't feel love. It's not misery. Their ego is yearning for validation. You succeed there. Simply by remaining mute and not responding to their demands, you dramatically change the power dynamic. They thought they were in the driver's seat and departed. But ultimately, it was always you who had the upper hand. 3 unanswered questions haunt them. You know what really gets under people's skin? Unresolved issues. Consider the last time someone left you hanging without providing any kind of explanation or farewell, or ghosted you. It must have kept you up at night, didn't it? You could have wondered why, right? Picture now how much worse your ex-partner must have felt when they felt the same way. Because let me tell you something, when you remain silent, you transform into an enigma. You were supposed to cling, weep, plead, and demand explanations from your ex. They were already preparing themselves emotionally for the lengthy message you would deliver, attempting to resolve the situation. But when that wasn't the case, it distorted their thinking. They attempt to disregard it initially. They're going to send me a text message shortly. They should just act like they're moving on. They still love me, I know it. However, as time goes on, days, weeks, months, perhaps, nothing has changed. At this point, their thoughts begin to deceive them. Hold on a second. Were they never truly in love with me? They should have contacted us. Do they truly care so much about me? Asking, did they find someone better? And suddenly, they're completely enamored with you. The reason being that people despise tales that don't end happily ever after. Closure is what our brains need. We must be informed about the causes, consequences, and resolutions of any events that transpired. As soon as you stop talking, you refuse to give them the resolution they need. They find themselves increasingly tormented by their own ideas as they endeavor to comprehend. That is why it is not uncommon for exes to return months or even years later. They didn't just have a revelation about how much they love you. This is due to the fact that they were consistently plagued with unresolved inquiries. They should just be aware. Was it a mistake for them to go? Are they still on your mind? Were they doomed to repeat their greatest error? So you want to know something? You will have lost all interest by the time they arrive seeking clarification. 4. Realizing your love was rare. Your ex probably left because they felt they could have done better. But let's be honest. Perhaps they became bored. They could have wished to discover more. In your absence, they may have imagined a more thrilling existence. What occurs, though, when individuals seek for the better alternative? What they had with you was truly unique, and they now realize it. For a while, they bask in the independence. They take a social plunge, maybe rekindle their romance. However, the inevitable happens. They receive so much attention, you know? Compared to your love, it is nothing. What about those late-night chats? For whatever reason, they feel inadequate. The recently formed bonds? They are shallow. Suddenly, individuals begin to long for the simple pleasures they used to take for granted. The attentive manner in which you took in their grievances. You were there for them when others would have turned their backs. The unconditional affection you have for them. They resist at first. They are too proud to acknowledge when they are wrong. However, as time goes on, it becomes glaringly clear. They abandon something genuine in favor of something fleeting. When will they ever begin to comprehend it? I can't find you anymore. Because once a precious love has been gone, it can never be replaced. At that point, your ex will see the gravity of their actions. They parted ways with a kind individual who was prepared to start a new chapter in their lives with them. Then what? That shame will follow them around like a shadow forever. 5. Silence drives them crazy. When compared to words, what is more powerful? Absolute quiet. Why? Because when someone abandons you, they anticipate a response. They anticipate that you would seek an answer by pursuing, crying, or pleading with them. They are trying to demonstrate that they can manage your feelings even when you let them, that you're still attached, still yearning, and still aching even if they left. Unfortunately, what happens when you don't even offer them anything? Their spirit breaks. Initially, they act as if it doesn't bother them. They act pleased on social media and carry on with their lives. To show a point, you can even try flirting with strangers. Something seems wrong, though, in the background. Your lack of speech is unusual. You haven't responded to any of their posts, texted them, or checked in with them. Nobody can tell that you're hurting or that you're brokenhearted. I can't find you anymore. Then what about that? It irritates them. For the simple reason that when nobody speaks, everyone starts to wonder. Because of this, individuals are compelled to spend time alone with their innermost thoughts, uncertainties, and remorse. And when they hear nothing back from you, no indication that you're still concerned, their thoughts begin to race. Have they ever truly cared for me? Have they made up their minds about me already? Did they progress more quickly than I did? Then out of nowhere, they begin to long for your presence. They don't love you sincerely. But they despise the thought that you're okay without them. And here's where your strength is put to use. Why? Because being silent makes a message, not only a lack of speech. What it means is that your ex-partner is no longer needed. Knowing they can't have you makes them want you more than anything else. Therefore, if you're having trouble resisting the temptation to send just one message or keep in touch, etc., skip it. Allow them to remain in that stillness. Let them be perplexed. Make them feel the devastation they caused. It will drive them crazy, I promise. 6. Memories turn into torment. Attempts to move on are common following a breakup. They divert their attention, take up other interests, and perhaps even go back out on dates. However, memories persist despite their efforts. And initially, such recollections aren't harmful. They ignore the fact that something, a song, a location, or even an aroma reminds them of you. It fades away till one day, all of a sudden, you're on their minds. It was funny how you cracked up at their jokes, the way you fixed your gaze on them as if they were your exclusive concern, things like late-night chats, inside jokes, and tiny habits. This time, though, it's painful rather than warm. Why? Because those moments are genuine to them. Never again will they have them. They departed thinking they could take your place, you know. They naively believed they might discover a new companion to share their lives with and help them move on from the past. But right now, they are unable to do it. In light of those recollections, they are more than just artifacts from a bygone era. What they lost is symbolized by these objects. And that's when they begin to feel the crushing weight of remorse. Reason being, your ex isn't only lonely, they long for the days when you loved them without conditions. The self you were when you would have sacrificed all for them. Then what? No longer do you exist in that form. See if they can make contact. Something can be done to try to remedy it. But secretly they are aware. There will be a permanent change. That is the most excruciating form of agony. The realization that you had something truly special and you ruined it is worse than losing a loved one. Then what? That is something they will always have to deal with. Conclusion. By being silent, we make people confront the truth, which is a powerful thing. Your ex will start to doubt everything they ever believed in. It helps them to comprehend what they've given up. However, the most crucial aspect is this. If their return is just motivated by silence, are you still interested in them? Rely on it. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.